The Lakers have 28 games left in the regular season. What can they do? How good can they be? What can they do in the playoffs? It's an optimist's guide to the second half of the season next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes on weekends, and now more than once a day. This is where you go to get all your Lakers information. Maybe through Apple, maybe you're a Spotify guy, maybe you're one of the 37,000 plus subscribers of Locked On Lakers YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. No matter how you do it, any avenue you take, Andy,
even electric. You do it. Then we'll take you higher.
Yeah. You are part of making the Locked On Podcast Network the number one sports podcast network in this or any other known universe. I'm Brian Kamenetsky with Andy Kamenetsky, covering the team for nearly 20 years with the ESPN, the LA Times, with the Athletic. And the second half, Andy, is here. It starts on Friday. 28 games left. As Lebron says, the marathon is over. The sprint is beginning. Can I quote Jerry Maguire, Andy? We live in a cynical world. And there are a lot of people who are cynical about the Lakers' chances down the stretch. Think this is a garbage team with a garbage GM and a star who's past his prime. And when you're past your prime, you start to smell bad, like garbage. And maybe it was stretching that a little far. But
no. Keep going. You're doing great.
But there are reasons, Andy. We're going to think optimistically in this episode. We're going to look at with a kind of a glass, not even half full, but like 3/4 full. Like, this is nice glass and it's pretty full. And we're going to do it in a way where you don't have to think of crazy things happening. It's not Bronny catching, becoming a second half star, or Dalton Connect doing things in the first 3/4 of a basketball game. This is like stuff that could happen. I've been thinking about this, and I want you to tell me if any of these things are ridiculous, because I think there's at least a possibility that the Lakers could make some reasonable noise in the playoffs if certain things happen in the second half. The first thing, are you on board with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here, right?
They're getting the band together here. I understand that we still technically don't know who's available to play Friday when the second half opens, but I'm going to assume that if it's not Friday, it's going to come that relatively quickly here, the big three, Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, are going to finally be on the court together. That will have not just an effect on the Lakers' top-end talent, it will have a ripple effect on what the entire rotation looks like. 152 minutes all season long, Andy. That is going to change. That number is going to go up considerably in the second half of the season. And that, basically by default, I think is a reason to be optimistic about where this team can go in the second half of the season.
That is the key to reaching whatever you think is the highest ceiling version of this team. And whether that ceiling is high enough to try to pull what it would appear most NBA analysts, pundits think would be an upset or two in the playoffs.
Certainly, I think to make it through 2 rounds, I think would be considered a big upset.
Yeah. You got to be able to reach that ceiling. You also have to be able to raise the floor. And the Lakers have not had a high enough ceiling or consistently even high enough floor against the really good teams. There's always the context of at least a reason they have struggled against some of the best teams in the league is they've often been playing those teams while shorthanded. But nonetheless, the best version of this team is only going to take place if you have all the players that matter available on a regular basis.
Yeah, here are my assumptions. Luka is going to continue playing at the level that he has, before the injury started going to the break, like that little lull that he had after flying back to Slovenia for the baby and all those other things. He was playing back to that MVP level that he was at the beginning of the season. I think Austin Reeves, once the minute restrictions is off, going to look like he did at the beginning of the season. And you talk about raising the floor. All of that will make LeBron better because the burden will be lighter. And it just makes what he needs to do significantly easier, and it improves the chances of having him be as fresh as possible going into the second half. Not that fresh. For those on the YouTube channel, Andy showed the picture of LeBron when he was like 7. He's not going to turn back the clock that much, but he might turn it back a little bit.
To your point, too, really quick before we
Sure.
get to your next one, having all of the players matters, too, because it gives JJ the maximum amount of floor combinations possible.
Yep.
And we've talked about, for example, defensively, JJ, and I think to his credit, has been willing to throw a lot more pitches this season as possibilities, pitches that I think he is not inherently comfortable throwing.
No NBA coach likes playing this much zone.
No, and
for example,
there have been a lot of different things that JJ has looked to do that I don't think are naturally part of his basketball principles. Agree with his principles, disagree, whatever. But there has been a willingness or resignation, however you want to put it, that this is going to be necessary. As JJ said, they got to get a little weird at times. You can't get weird without a full assortment of options. That is going to matter for them.
All right. After the break, I want to run a couple more things by you, one of which I can almost guarantee you is going to be wildly unpopular with most of our audience. We'll get to that next.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Drink. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. We are looking at every aspect of the draft to let you know which tasty flavors are the best, which ones might be sleepers. The board's set, flavors are ready, and only one is going to take the top spot. 5 Hour Energy has a wide variety of flavors and something for everyone with that classic patented zero sugar boost. The flavor I'm drafting, peach mango. It's a ripe peach flavor on the first sip. The mango adds some tropical depth and sweetness. It's slightly richer than citrus flavors, although I do love me some clean citrus. The peach mango, though, that is a balanced tropical blend. Maybe add a little lime to it, get a little Frank Ocean vibe going. Mango, peaches, and lime. A little sweet life. If you know, you know. And I'm also open to the watermelon, the blue raspberry, but peach mango, that is my draftee. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available at 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon.
Locked On Lakers is also brought to you by Quo, new year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has got to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make, and that's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, that's spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications, because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with your customers. Quo makes everything simpler. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees full conversation threads, which makes replying faster and more personal. Works right from your phone and computer. You can even keep your existing numbers. So it's no surprise. The Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. So make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
And finally, Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Indeed. Hiring's not just about finding someone willing to take a job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs, that's the move. Instead of hoping the right person just magically sees your post, Indeed helps boost your job listing to people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certification, location. And if I was hiring, I don't want just someone who can help. That's basically like anybody. I want someone with real experience who can jump right in. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching, more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show, you get a $75 sponsored job credit to help Get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
I think it's fair to say, Andy, that the street value of DeAndre Ayton has never been lower in his time in Los Angeles. People are down on DA. And I get it. He has not been very good over the last month. I think it's fair. He started great, and he's had some decent games kind of sprinkled in here, but overall the trend line's going the wrong way. I am hopeful that he can be something in between what he was in February and what he was in November, which would settle into somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 and 9 a game, pretty consistently. I'm reasonably optimistic that he can do that with a healthy Reeves, which I think will make a big difference with him, and hopefully a healthier knee, and an offense that will be better spaced thanks to guys like Luke Kennard, we will get to in a second, that will give him more opportunities to get the kind of good, easy looks and finishes that he got at the beginning of the year. You get 3-4 games in a row where Ayton gets to feel good about himself, can very quickly spin into 3 weeks where Ayton gets to feel good about himself.
Well, to your point, if you are correct, it is a really big deal. Like my weekly ESPN LA 710 Lakers show, Lakers Talk, I had Jake Madison, the host of Locked On Pelicans and Locked On NBA. He covers the entire league. I asked him, give me a player that is not Luka, LeBron, or Austin that you think can shape the Lakers' playoff run positively or negatively more than anybody else, that type of impact. And he said Ayton, both in terms of what he can provide at his best, but also just in terms of pure size and some of the matchups that the Lakers are going to be dealing with in the playoffs, whether you're talking about Isaiah Hartenstein, who can be very difficult to keep off the offensive glass, Wemby, Alperen Şengün, Nikola Jokic. Like, there are a lot of different matchups. Keeping Rudy Gobert off the glass for Minnesota. And down the line, there are a lot of different teams that the Lakers could end up facing in the playoffs with legit size that you need to counter with legit size. And DeAndre Ayton is the first and last option on this team along those lines. Like, in terms of somebody that you can put out there that one of his key attributes is dude is huge. Like, he is a really big physical presence.
We've already seen stretches where Ayton has played quite well. And even, with the bad Ayton and all this, he's still averaging like 13 and 9 on the season.
2026 has been, if not awful adjacent. He has not been good.
He's not been good in 26.
We did a mini show about how in 2026 he's played by Jackson.
Right, but the stuff that happened before then. Yeah, sure. The stuff that happened before then was much better. And so hopefully somewhere in between would be a nice place to settle in. And I think that is possible. One of the reasons I think that's possible, Andy, because I remember I talked in the first segment about guys slotting into better places for them offensively, better spots for them in the rotation. Jake LaRavia, with everybody healthy, becomes a guy who is your seventh or eighth guy in your rotation, which is much more appropriate to, I think, where he ought to be slotted. You're not asking Marcus Smart to produce offensively so that when he does, it's a bonus. Rui can focus on scoring and not have to worry as much about the other categories in which he doesn't do as well. I think a big potential unlock for a lot of these things for the offense to work better, which will help make their defense better, is Luke Kennard. And you can already see the impact of having not just a second laser, a second just really dead-eye respectable shooter on the floor in addition to Rui. They can have one of those guys available anytime they want. I guess you could use two if you want, depending on the alignment. That, I think, combined with Kennard's ability to put the ball on the floor a little bit, make the right pass, take advantage of his own gravity to get good shots for other people, I think it's going to have a significant impact in the Lakers' offense over the final 28 games. I think he's going to play a very large role going forward.
Yeah, as far as, these things that we've talked about before with Kennard and the impact that he can have, the one thing that I would add that I think is specifically a piece of reasons to be optimistic, specifically with Kennard moving forward, is he's shooting 45.5% from behind the arc in 4 games with the Lakers. It is not as high a volume as you would like, just under 3 per game, but he is still shooting at a really good clip. His actual overall field goal percentage is 62.5%, which would be a career high by a mile.
Right.
This is all happening without having played at all with Luka. So he is putting up this type of efficiency overall as a scorer, and also from behind the arc. Again, not with the volume that you'd want, but that can hopefully come, if nothing else, just with more comfort with his new team. But again, this is happening without Luka at all, and the looks that Luka is going to create for Kennard. So I think that is one of those things that you can look at with pure projected optimism that I think makes total sense.
Yeah, he's still Luke Kennard. And, for some teams, they might look at it and be like, guys, it's Luke Kennard. Nice player, but except the Lakers haven't had that guy. Certainly not in the backcourt. They've been trying to find a guy to do what Kennard does for like a decade. Dalton Connect. The failure of Dalton Connect is a straight line to the acquisition of Luke Kennard. Like Kennard's ability to be something more than just a shooter, I think will unlock some other things too, beyond obviously what the stars provide. And sometimes you don't need huge tweaks to make big differences. And I think this could be the Lakers been dying to have a real shooter and see what that does for their overall floor balance. So those are just a few reasons, Andy, to be optimistic that the Lakers can make some noise. I genuinely believe, I'm not saying I put the money on it, but I genuinely believe that that this team can win 2 playoff series. I don't know if they will.
It's certainly within the realm of possibilities, even if it's a dark horse type projection.
Yeah. And now, look, we could do the pessimist show too. And I can tell you where I think they could also end up on that end. But I'm not doing that in this episode. Let Andy know what you think your optimistic version of this final 28 game stretch looks like in the comment section. Tweet us at Cam Brothers. Let us know if we have missed some things that make you optimistic about what could happen, because Andy, the whole point of sports is to enjoy it and have something to look forward to. So we might as well do that, at least in these last moments before the Lakers play again. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can hang out with over 37,000 subscribers to that channel. Make sure you're checking out the Everydayer Club in the show notes. Find out if it's for you. We'll see everyone next time.